It's time for our July plan with me. This month, Chris and I are traveling to Alberta to do some camping in the mountains, and I want my planner to reflect that. So I'll be creating this mountain-themed night and day illustration. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell and it is time for our July plan with me. But before we get into what is going to be a great video, I want to take a second to tell you about a little milestone that we hit around here recently, and that is reaching 200,000 subscribers. So we've been celebrating, we're super pumped for this achievement, and of course we want to say thank you to you for being here, for being a kind and supportive audience, for making art with me every week. So we have put together a huge prize pack. It is the biggest prize we've ever done, and it's made up of all of our favorite art brands. So let me see if I can give you a very quick rundown, if I can remember everything. Okay, let's go. For your journaling pleasure, we have a notebook from Bear & Fig and tape and stickers from Washi Wednesday, as well as jelly roll pens from Sakura. For watercolor painting, we are giving away a koi set from Sakura, that's the watercolor paints, a Genuine Crafts watercolor pad, and finally a Derwent hand lettering set, the one with my design on the package. So if you would like to win all of that, listen carefully. It's easy to enter, but you have to do everything. So leave a comment below this video letting me know what is your favorite summer activity in July. I want to find out a little more about you, so tell me your favorite thing to do in the month of July. Then make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, and finally, you have to turn your notifications on, because when we run a giveaway like this, we're not taking your email address. So it can be a little tricky for me to get a hold of my winners. So don't do me like that. You have to turn the notifications on, because if I can't let you know that you won, I gotta pick a new winner, okay? So good luck, thank you for being here, and let's get into today's video. So I'm going to start today's video with a flip through of my planner, show you what I did for June. If you're a fan of the channel, then you know that every month I do a cutaway page, or at least for 2019, I put the calendar on the page below. If you look back, that was the June page with lilacs, but we did lemons, and we've done all kinds of different botanical sort of themes. So this month we're going to switch it up a little bit. But anyway, in June we were all about lilacs, and I always do a calendar page, and for me, I use it for all of my videos, my video schedule. And then we did this cute little illustration for June. And then for the weekly layouts, I've been keeping it really, really doodly, really botanical. Everything's really whimsical. I've used a little bit of ripped paper. This is this week that we're in right now, the second last week of June, and busy week this week. And every week I do the illustrations. So next week, I've already got some ripped paper in there, and I've got my weekly layout done in case I need to jump ahead and put in some to-do lists or something, but I'll add some illustrations next week. And then I also did this right at the end of May, my menu planner. This is just something so that I can have all of my menu ideas with me when I'm at the grocery store. So if you missed that video, you might want to check it out. And this month, okay, so we are doing something different. I don't want to get stale on you guys. So it starts the same way. It's still a cutaway page, so you count in those 8 squares and draw your line down. Then I've traced a can to make a circle, and we are going to do a camping mountain-themed illustration because Chris and I are going to Alberta to visit family and do some camping. And so on the page below, I have the circle traced in the exact same spot. I've put the month here, I've put my calendar here, and on the front page, on the cutaway page, we will have the daytime illustration, and underneath will be nighttime. So I am starting to draw my illustration, and I'm starting with the mountains. Now the mountains are simple enough, and we're gonna go through it together. You're gonna do 4 or 5 peaks, just make them as large as you want, and then you're going to divide each peak with a line down the center or around the center. So you can see me dividing each mountain. We'll do this one here. We're drawing a line down the center, and maybe I'll make a little thing over there. So you're basically just dividing up your mountains. And what this is going to do is one side of the mountain is getting hit by the sun and it's lighter, and one side is in shadow. So you get this really rocky graphic image. I'm also going to have some trees here in the foreground and a tent. Oh yeah, this tent is like 10 stories high if you consider those mountains. So we'll make it a little smaller, and I'm just doing scribbles where the trees will be. And then lots of scribbles. And then what I'm going to do is do some mountain flowers like fireweed and buttercups in the foreground. So here, when I go over it in pen, you can really see how this comes together. You do the shape of the mountain and then you divide it. So you put a line down the middle. All the lines are very jagged. You can shake the pen a little as you move it. And one side of that mountain is going to be in shadow and one side is going to be in light. And as I said, it makes this wonderfully graphic illustration. This is something totally new for me. I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone here. So I will continue to go over these, and then as I start to shade them, I think you'll really see how they come together. Now I'd like to take a moment here to say thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring our video today. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, watercolor, illustration, photography, Instagram, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working in their field, so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. Skillshare is also more affordable than most learning platforms out there. An annual membership is less than $10 a month. And as usual, the first 500 people to use my link in the video description below will get 2 months of Skillshare for free. So you can grab a 2-month free trial if you are one of the first 500 people to click the link. All right, back to our tutorial here. I am starting to shade the mountains, and I think you can really see how they're coming together. I'm just doing some really quick loose line shading, and I am doing that to the left-hand side, I guess you could say, of each mountain. And it really does give this look of the sun hitting the right-hand side, or we'll call it the east side, and the west side being in shadow. So it does create this beautiful sort of contrast on the page, and it is not hard to do. And then you can add these harsher, darker lines wherever you want there to kind of be a ridge. And that's what we drew first, was the shapes of the mountains and then the ridges down the center. So with those almost done, I'm going to grab my Pigma Micron. I'm using the 05 nib for this portion of the illustration, and I am just adding a little bit of stippling all along the mountains, I guess. It's just a nice detail. Because this is a daylight sky, I don't want to fill it in, but I just want there to be some detail there. So I did a bit of stippling, and then I am going to come into the foreground here, and I'm going to illustrate all the flowers before I do the tent and the trees, because I want to make sure that the flowers are sort of in the front, so I don't want to put a tree where you guys get it. Okay. And I am doing some northern flowers, the wild rose. I think that's the provincial flower of Alberta, actually, so that's perfect. We have those here in Prince Edward Island too. And I'm going to do some fireweed and buttercups. So all these wonderful northern mountain flowers come together in the foreground here. The buttercups are just these little 4-petal flowers, and then the fireweed is something totally different. I always draw the stem first, and then it has all these weird spindly bits at the top. It's like this very raggedy flower. And then near the center, it has a big cluster of flowers, almost like phlox. And so that's what you see me drawing here, just sort of sketching these really loose little blossoms. And then at the top, they turn into just these big twiggy things. And then there's kind of this little cone shape at the very top. And here you can see that I decided to color them in. I felt that I needed some more contrast within the flowers. And so I just colored in all the fireweed sort of dark, because they are quite a dark, bright purple. So now that that's done, I am just going over my tent and finishing up my contour drawing here. And then I actually, at this point, sort of realized I don't think I need the trees. It would be a bit busy, so I just put a bit of grass and called it a day. Okay, let's move on to the nighttime portion of this illustration. Obviously, night and day illustrations of mountains are going to be quite similar, so we'll move through this one a little quicker. It's going to be different, but it's a lot the same. So I've laid down the contour drawing of the mountains. Now I'm taking my Koi brush pen, which is just a nice thick nib, and I am going to just completely color in the sky, just black it out so that I get this really nice, rich sky. I mean, this illustration I think is going to be really, really cool, because it is going to have so much contrast. You get the contrast of the mountains and then you get this dark sky. I'll add the July title along the top here, just using my pen for that. It's already looking so good. I'm going to put the calendar in at the bottom. I usually do this on the side and you can see it below or beneath the cutaway page, but we're doing something totally different this month. And here I'm using a smaller nib Pigma Micron. I think this is an 02 or an 01, and I am just adding the line shading, and on the night one I'm doing not quite as dark of line shading because it's sort of, I guess it's moonlit and we don't want quite as much. We don't want the sky to be dark and the mountains to be dark, right? So you can see there that I've done some nice line shading, and then I'm using my Jelly Roll pen from Sakura, and I'm just adding all these little stars and a little moon, like really simple, cutesy, illustrative stuff. And I think that looks really nice. And then for this one, I'm not going to do the flowers in the foreground because it's nighttime, they'd be sleeping. Just kidding. I'm going to just do some little silhouettes of trees. And I do that by doing a line and then doing a vertical line and then doing all these tiny little horizontal lines across it. So very scribbly, simple, silhouetted trees. I'm still going to have our little tent in there because we're going camping, so that's what this is all about. Chris and I love to camp. We have never camped, or I haven't camped in Alberta in the summer yet. Chris and his family are from Alberta, so we're super excited to be going there this summer. I'm putting some grass in the foreground, and that is my July nighttime illustration all done. So I'm flipping to the next page. I'm taking my 02, which is a smaller nib of the Pigma Micron, and I am going to do my calendar page. Now I do this every month, so I don't want to bore you with it, but I always lay it out a 3x3 squares grid. I do it in pencil first. If you use a Baron Fig journal like me, the pages are 25 squares across, so you can have a border of 2 squares on each side of the calendar. You pull the pen towards your body so you keep your lines straight but not too straight. You guys know the drill. And then of course across the top I'm adding some little mountains, just continuing with the theme, and I will finish up my calendar here. And these ones are very like doodly mountains, but they still look pretty cute, and that line shading really makes them pop. I'll add a simple border underneath, and I'm also going to add that line border below the calendar just to sort of, I don't know, finish off this page. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to cover up this page because the illustration really comes through. So I'm putting a bit of my ripped paper as well as some black washi tape on this back side of this page. And then I'm going to continue with that white Jelly Roll pen. So I'll use it in another spot. Anytime I have a monthly theme, I like to use things, not once but twice. Like we've got a few different mountain illustrations. We've got a very graphic black and white theme happening. So I'm kind of working on these themes and building them. And I'm just doing the simplest branches with these little berries. I won't fill in this entire area or anything like that. I'm just going to do a corner. I think that's a nice design element to just sort of fill one little corner, and it leaves lots of negative space and lots of space for writing. Okay, let's take a look at our finished work. So I have my Daytime Mountains illustration here as my cutaway page, and then underneath I have a centered circular illustration, the mountains at night. I have my month title and my calendar. And then if you flip, instead of my goals and focus being on that month July page, I have them on the back side, so I'll put my goals in there. And then of course I have my YouTube calendar, and from there we'll move into my weekly layouts. I also decided to add some more branches down under the calendar, and that is it. My July planner is ready to go, and I can't wait to fill it all in. Now I just wanted to say thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring our video today. Skillshare, because I let them know that I'm interested in crafts and illustration, they always have all these wonderful suggestions for me on my homepage. So there's this one on finding your illustrative style. There's one here on script lettering. I mean, there's one about making a ceramic mug. I'm like, how did you know that I would love that? I hope you don't need many supplies because I totally want to do that. And I also noticed that there is a really interesting contest going on that I thought you guys might be interested in. It's all about art and drawing and doodling. So there's, I think, about 10 courses here, classes. You have to sign up for any one that piques your interest, and then complete the course, do one of the course projects and submit it. And there's you'll want to read through this yourself, but there's going to be 10 winners, 10 finalists, and everybody that wins gets a year of Skillshare free and a $250 art gift card. So I just thought you guys would really potentially be very interested in that. So click the link in the video description to get your 2-month free trial to Skillshare, and then make sure to enter my giveaway by commenting below, subscribing, and turning on your notifications. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I will see you soon with a new tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe.